Jai Sapadikashi Shri Guru Gaur Chandraju ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhanju ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astatersata Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astatersata Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Haridev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Class. Haribol. Jai Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Haribol. Another beautiful day in spiritual progress. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnupadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Haribol. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda. So now this is chapter number 7. The explanation of the Lord in 5 features, or the Panchatattva. And we are now on verse number 5.
This is Adi
So
Lila.
we'll read the Bengali again, huh?
This is Adi Lila volume 2, right?
This is Adi Lila volume 1.
Volume 1?
Yeah. Adi Lila volume 1. Good morning. I think we read the Bengali yesterday, but we'll read it again. Panchatattva akavastu nahi kichu veda rasa asvadite tabu vivida viveda. Spiritually, there are no differences between these 5 tattvas, or truths. For on the on the transcendental platform, everything is absolute. So everything is contained in the absolute reality. Yet there are also varieties in the spiritual world, and in order to taste these spiritual varieties, one should distinguish between them. In his Anubhasya commentary, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur describes the Panchatattva as follows. So we want to really pay attention to the Supreme Energetic, the personality of Godhead, manifesting in order to enjoy 5 kinds of pastimes, appears as the members of the Panchatattva. Appears, that's singular. So one person appears in 5 features. Right?
One person appears in 5
features. So the Supreme Energetic means he is the source of all energies, all Shaktis. The personality of Godhead manifesting in order to enjoy 5 kinds of pastimes appears as the members of the Panchatattva. Actually, there's no difference between them because they are situated on the absolute platform, but they manifest different spiritual varieties as a challenge to the impersonalist to taste different kinds of spiritual humors or rasas. In the Vedas it is said, Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate. The varieties of energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are differently known. So absolute means all-encompassing reality, and yet within that there is so much mellow, so many varieties, so many different kinds of rasa, so many different kinds of taste are there. From this statement of the Vedas, one can understand that there are eternal varieties of humors or tastes in the spiritual world. Sri Gauranga, Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Sri Gadadhar, and Sri Vastakur are all on the same platform, but in spiritually distinguishing between them, one should understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the form of a devotee. Nityananda Prabhu appears in the form of a devotee's spiritual master. Advaita Prabhu is the form of a bhakta, a devotee incarnation. Gadadhar Prabhu is the energy of a bhakta, and Srivas Thakur is a pure devotee. Thus there are spiritual distinctions between them. Sri Nityananda Prabhu and the Bhakta avatar Sri Advaita Prabhu are described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, His immediate manifestation, and His plenary expansion. The Bhakta Rupa, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bhakta Swarup, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and the Bhakta Avatar, Advaita Prabhu, are described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, His immediate manifestation, and His plenary expansion, and they all belong to the Vishnu category. Although the spiritual and marginal energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, they are the predominated subjects, whereas Lord Vishnu is the predominator. And I think this is pretty common sense. We're definitely not the predominator. We're being predominated at all times, either by the material urges or by the loving exchange with the Lord. But Lord Vishnu is never predominated and by anything. He is the Lord of everything. As such, although they are on the same platform, they have appeared differently in order to facilitate tasting of transcendental mellows. Actually, however, there is no possibility of one being different from the other, for the worshipper and the worshipable cannot be separated at any stage. On the absolute platform, one cannot be understood without the other. So when the lover and the beloved are said to be one, and yet they are different. The lover and the beloved are united in divine love, in divine love, when we talk about real love. But they're one in that. So many things are like that, one and different, everywhere. It's all there. But on the absolute platform, that is also the original fact. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhakta Kyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Let me offer my obeisances unto Lord Shri Krishna, who has manifested himself in 5 as a devotee, expansion of a devotee, incarnation of a devotee, pure devotee, and the devotional energy. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is the immediate expansion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his brother. He is the personified spiritual bliss of Satchidananda Vigraha. His body is transcendental and full of ecstasy in devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is therefore called Bhakta Rupa, the form of a devotee. And Sri Nityananda Prabhu is called the incarnation of a devotee. He is Vishnu Tattva and belongs to the same category. There are also different types of bhaktas or devotees on the platforms of neutrality, servitude, friendship, parenthood, and conjugal love. Devotees like Sri Damodar, Sri Gadadhar, and Sri Ramananda are different energies. This confirms the Vedic Sutra Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate. All these bhakta subjects taken together constitute Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. Not easy, not an easy subject. But it is also within everyone's experience. Everything is absolute. Reality is absolute. Truth is absolute. Reality is that, has that quality. It's all, the absolute encompasses everything. And deeper understanding will bring us to the divine relationship, Hare Krishna. That is the pinnacle of absolute reality. Everything is coming from there, and everything is harmonized in that. The fact that we have a choice of disharmony, that is astonishing. That is an astonishing Shakti of the Lord, that we have that choice, that the jiva has a choice. But that in the final end is also harmonized in the absolute. But within the absolute, there is so much variety. And the Lord is playing, He's playful. He's manifesting Himself, Prabhu, in all these different ways. Is He going to come?
Nick? He's going.
And everything is harmonized in that absolute reality. And the Lord is playing. He's playing in so many varieties of ways. And He's showing firsthand, only 500 years ago, He's showing firsthand how this is happening. It's astonishing. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Akaleshwara Advitiya Nandat Majja Rasika Shekara. Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, the Supreme Controller. No one is greater than or equal to Sri Krishna, yet He appears as the son of Nanda Maharaj. So let's read that again. Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, the Supreme Controller. No one is greater than or equal to Sri Krishna, yet He appears as the son of Maharaj Nanda. So where's the contradiction there? The seeming contradiction. He's the Supreme Controller, and yet He's someone's son. That means that person is controlling Him. Mm-hmm. So this is all wondrous. This is all pastime. Generally in the world, we see, in the newer scriptures and the very small scriptures, that God is God. He's just God. And I mean, the fact of Him having a father, that's not conceivable. He's just God. And that's pretty much all the information we have about Him, is that He creates the world and so on. But that He has a father, this is a deeper thing. that these are all play, that his final and highest kind of quality is that he is playful. He likes to be subdued. But who can subdue him? Who can subdue him? That's impossible. You can't. He can overcome all others running. It says in the Ishopanishad. And yet the cowherd boys are sometimes outrunning him. They're winning in the game. This is incredible sweetness, and it is existing in the plane of sweetness. So if we want to participate, then our heart must become completely sweetened through the process of surrender. We're always surrendering, let's face it. Are we always surrendering?
Yes. Either to our material desires or to the will of the Lord.
That is the nature of the jiva. Very good. But the funny part of it is when we surrender to the material nature, we get a lie. That I'm not surrendering, I'm conquering. I'm the enjoyer. I keep thinking this, we're not the brightest buttons in the box. You know that expression?
No, the brightest buttons in the box. I've never heard that.
That expression refers to someone who's not that smart.
Oh.
The brightest button in the box. We're not that one. But it is nice to know this, to get our diagnosis of our situation. Rasadi vilasi braja lalana nakara. Huh?
No, nothing.
Adajata shabade katara parikara. Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the supreme enjoyer in the rasa dance. He is the leader of the damsels of Braja, and all others are simply his associates. Shriya Kanta Kanta Paramapurusha Kalpataravo. He is the only lover. And everyone is his beloved. There's only one lover. Everyone else is his associate. It's like, whoa, there's a hard pill to swallow. So if we want to be the lover, if we want to be the primary lover, then we have to get a Halloween costume and pretend. We have to get like a costume called the material body. The word rasadi vilasi, the enjoyer of the rasa dance, is very important. The rasa dance can be enjoyed only by Sri Krishna because he is the supreme leader and chief of the damsels of Vrindavan. All others are his devotees and associates. Although no one can compare with Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are many unscrupulous rascals who imitate the rasa dance of Sri Krishna. They are Mayavadis, and people should be very wary of them. The rasa dance can be performed only by Sri Krishna and no one else. Now, we have no experience of this, but those who have been, spent extensive time in India may have come across this kind of thing. And it's very nasty business. Some guy will come into a village and he's like, I am the Supreme Lord and I've chosen your daughter and your daughter and your daughter, and we're all going to go out and enjoy the rasa dance. Very nasty nonsense. What can we do? Shri Krishna avatirna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Se parikara gana shange shabadanya. The self-same Lord Krishna advented himself as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his eternal associates who are also equally glorious. The self-same Lord Krishna advented himself as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his eternal associates, who are also equally glorious. Akaleshwara Tattva Chaitanya Ishwara Bhakta Bhava Maya Tara Shuddha Kaleshwara. So who's going to be an associate of the Lord? In this context, what we're being urged to understand is that all the associates of the Lord are expansions of the Lord. And this is Panchatattva. They're representing, being all represented by these 5 features of the Lord. He's the absolute reality. Is that kind of get clear?
Yes.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who is the Supreme Controller, the personality of Godhead, has ecstatically become a devotee, yet his body is transcendental and not materially tinged. So purport, we'll read this purport now, and then we'll continue. There are different tattvas or truths, including Isha Tattva, Jiva Tattva, and Shakti Tattva. Isha Tattva refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is the Supreme Living Force. In the Katha Upanishad it is said, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Eternal and the Supreme Living Force. The living entities are also eternal and are also living forces, but they are very minute in quantity, whereas the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Living Force and the Supreme Eternal. So when we have this conception, we must also understand that the living beings are not something separate in the sense of having their own source and independence. The marginal potency is all included within the Absolute, who is the Lord. We're saying He's the Supreme Eternal. That means He is the absolute reality, not that He's the best one. Do you follow? The Supreme Eternal never accepts a body of a temporary material nature, whereas the living entities who are part and parcel of the Supreme Eternal are prone to do so. Thus, according to the Vedic mantras, the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Master of innumerable living entities. The Mayavadi philosophers, however, try to equate the minute living entities with the Supreme Living Entity. Because they recognize no distinctions between them, their philosophy is called Advaitavad, or monism. Factually, however, there is a distinction. This verse is especially meant to impart to the Mayavadi philosopher the understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Controller. So the Mayavadis are quoting the scriptures, specifically the Vedanta Sutra and Shankaracharya's commentary or miscommentary on the Vedanta Sutra, but any verses in the Veda that don't agree with them, they just ignore them like they didn't happen, like they don't exist. So this is primarily, this is fundamentally dishonest. Whereas the Vaishnavas, they can harmonize everything. They're not in any way trying to ignore any part of the Veda. But the Mayavadis just ignore verses like this. Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Eko Bahinam Yo Viditatika. They just ignore that. Blah, 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 blah. They don't want to talk about it. And most people who are spouting some kind of nonsense, they will just ignore anything that doesn't support that. They just ignore it. But the devotees can harmonize anything and everything. Everything has its place in the Absolute. The Supreme Controller, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna himself, but as a transcendental pastime, he has accepted the form of a devotee, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, comes to this planet exactly like a human being, some rascals consider him to be one of the ordinary humans. One who thinks in that mistaken way is described as mudha, or foolish. Therefore, one should not foolishly consider Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be an ordinary human being. He has accepted the ecstasy of a devotee, but he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there have been many imitation incarnations of Krishna who cannot understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself and not an ordinary human being. Less intelligent men create their own gods by advertising a human being as God. This is their mistake. Therefore, here the words Tara Shuddha Kalevara warn that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body is not material, but purely spiritual. One should not therefore accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an ordinary devotee, although he has assumed the form of a devotee. That is his ecstatic feeling. And we know many things that we have already read about this. Yet one must certainly know that although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he accepted the ecstatic ecstasy of a devotee, one should not misunderstand his pastimes and place him in exactly the same position as Krishna. This is also to be understood. When Mahaprabhu appears as a devotee, when Mahaprabhu is accepted and is relishing the eternal mood of the devotee, then he is not in the mood of Krishna. And there are very unscrupulous persons in India who imitate Mahaprabhu, but as though he's enjoying ladies' association. This is all nonsense, just made up foolishness. It's not corroborated anywhere in the scriptures. So Srila Prabhupada, from the very beginning, took great pains in helping us to distinguish between what is factual and what is simply cooked up in the kitchen of illusory consciousness. Just made up. It is for this reason only that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu It is for this reason only that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was addressed as Krishna or Vishnu, he blocked his ears, not wanting to hear himself addressed as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a class of devotees called Gauranga Nagari who stage plays of Krishna's pastimes using a vigraha or form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is a mistake that is technically called rasa bas. While Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to enjoy as a devotee, one should not disturb him by addressing him as the personality of Godhead. Any questions?
One should not disturb him by addressing him as the Supreme Personality of God.
Why one should not?
Should not.
Well, of course we are hearing very, very carefully from Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj that he is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. But at the same time, that is not his mood. But the reason that we need to understand this, is so we don't mistake him and his activities as being that of an ordinary living being. The ecstasy of devotion that Mahaprabhu is feeling, that Mahaprabhu has accepted, is the other side, which is Srimati Radharani. They are eternally one and different. And Mahaprabhu is coming to show this inconceivable ontological fact. So one should not see so there's a small distinction there, that he is Krishna, but that mood is eternal, and it is a feature of his. So that is not to say that in that mood, he is also in the mood of Krishna as the enjoyer. He is relishing the mood of devotion. And those two things have to be understood as being distinct. They must be understood if we are to understand who Mahaprabhu is. We can't superimpose one over the other. That is a mistake. Okay? Is that clear or not really?
It's not very clear. So, but what I got from it is that Mahaprabhu is not only Krishna. So we shouldn't think that it's only...
No, that's not his mood. These are eternal features of the Lord. When Mahaprabhu is eternal, and when Radha and Krishna are one, meaning the Lord has taken the mood of Srimati Radharani is completely overwhelming to the Lord. He has accepted that as him. They're one and the same. When they become one, this is one of their eternal features. When they are two, that is a different kind of rasa. When they are one, the Supreme Lord himself is overwhelmed with the feeling of devotion by his own desire, because he's considering that devotion is a higher thing, a more noble, more sweet feeling. Real devotion. We're talking about devotion here that we are worshiping. We don't, that it is so noble, so beautiful, that he wants to know that. It's a way of worship. And he is taking that to know that. So he is not in the mood of Krishna in that time. And to think that he is, this is wrong. It is a very important mistake to make. If we are to understand something about Mahaprabhu, we can make all kinds of things up and not understand what is what. Anytime I can do that. I can say that tree is made out of peacock feathers or what. I can just make up anything I want. But if we really want to understand something, then we must hear about that from the proper source and not make that mistake. Because what's happening, that the Gauranga Nagaris are the group that Srila Prabhupada was just referring to, they are making plays where Mahaprabhu is enjoying with the gopis. This is completely wrong, 100% wrong. That is not who Mahaprabhu is. So when the Lord is coming in these extremely fine, features that we cannot even begin to, it's just not even available, this kind of deepest connection with this type of real fact of the Lord. then we have to approach in a very careful way, not just, knocking everything over and being clumsy and foolish and whimsical. This is a very fine subject matter if one wants to understand these finest things about the Lord, about God. So, is it, yeah? Is
So
that
how do
helping?
we approach Mahaprabhu if he's not
He is the
he's
Lord.
not in the mood of the enjoyer, but in the mood of the devotee? And if we're in his life,
I see what
how
you're
do
saying.
we offer our service to
Yeah.
him?
We're worshiping Mahaprabhu, but we're worshiping Mahaprabhu, we're always approaching through the Panchatattva. That's why before you chant your japa, you're chanting the Panchatattva mantra. We're taking shelter of the mercy potency. To approach this type of gift that is coming from Mahaprabhu, that's not an easy thing. And we're worshiping him as the Lord, actually, but at the same time worshiping that gift of his, that he wants to bring us, who are nothing and nobody, worse than nobody, troublemakers, to embrace us into this kind of pastime. So our worship is with affection and love, and always approaching the Panchatattva, always. Approaching Nityananda Prabhu. We can never approach Mahaprabhu directly. It is always by the grace of Guru, and who is representing Nityananda Prabhu, that we worship. And our mood is like that. We know he's the Lord, but this particular mood of the Lord is eternal. It's not like this is temporary. This is a very particular mood and form of the Lord. Highest, actually. Guru Maharaj said Mahaprabhu is the original personality of Godhead. Radha and Krishna are, you could say, are expansions of Mahaprabhu when he is enjoying separately. But these are very high things to consider. But it is common sense. Just worship him. He's come here in such a magnanimous way. So affection will naturally be there.
So when the moment when we remember to surrender and practice Sharanagati, who should we meditate upon? Shri Krishna from Vrindavan or Mahaprabhu?
In that sense, they're one and the same person.
Because
I really appreciate your question.
for example, the first limb of Sharanagati, humility, when the environment is coming to us, we, as Srila Guru Maharaja says, we must be humble, open to infinite possibilities, and then offer ourselves to that situation. And then embrace his guardianship because he has sent us that. So, should we meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna from Vrindavan, the one who's given that guardianship and the one who decided that to happen for us, or in Mahaprabhu? Like, is Radha and Krishna both they decide what's gonna happen, or is it just Krishna? So, like, when practicing Sharanagati, who should we meditate upon? Krishna alone or Krishna and Radha combined?
In the higher sense, it will be Radha and Krishna. You see, we're trying to become devotees. The devotional potency is Radharani. Actually, we are completely worshipping Radharani. The devotees are devotees of Radharani. We can't know Krishna outside of her. It's not possible. But we can, when Srila Guru Maharaj is talking about Sharanagati, he always refers to Krishna. And when Mahaprabhu comes to teach Sharanagati, as we know, we're, Shikaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana, and that invocation that we sing in the morning, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Doya Kori. And what did he come? Anjancha Durlabha Prema Kari Bhari Dana, to give this very rare gift of prema. How is he giving that? Shikaya Sharanagati. So Mahaprabhu is teaching that. So in that sense he's guru, but he's teaching surrender to Krishna. So we can meditate on that in whichever way you wish. You won't make a mistake in that sense. That, my Lord, you have brought this situation to me. It is good for me. But Mahaprabhu is teaching surrender to Krishna. So just meditate on Krishna. But it is by the grace of Mahaprabhu that we can even do that. And Gurudev, of course, by the grace of Guru. And all of these are all Shakti. So all by the grace of Guru, it's like Gurudev is coming to teach us to worship Krishna. But it's only by the grace of Gurudev that we can worship Krishna. So we're worshiping Gurudev. Mm-hmm. And to worship Krishna outside of Gurudev will be a figment of our imagination. So all of these things are synergistic. It's an interesting question. So the Lord Mahaprabhu has come to teach us devotion to Krishna and surrender to Krishna in the mood of Radharani. And he is that mood is eternal. It's not something temporary. Mahaprabhu is eternal. Mahaprabhu is always Mahaprabhu. Radha and Krishna are sometimes together, combined, and this is the combination. What this is Mahaprabhu, and sometimes separate, and enjoying pastime. What are we going to understand about that? But we're practicing surrender, so that all the anarthas and all this junk that is covering the mirror of the mind, and especially the chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, after chanting Panchatattva mantra, then all these things are going to become clearer in the plane of faith. Faith means experience, actually. It's not a belief, as we were talking about last night. It's experience of something which is not perceivable by the senses, which is on the plane of the soul, and far beyond that also. So, we have to get that experience. And what is favorable for that experience is what we're accepting. And what is going to be unfavorable, we are very careful about that. Because in the end, it will be a waste of time and something to solve, a problem to solve.
On the other hand, though, well, as we were reading yesterday, if we turn to the Lord and with our also free will and determination, what was the word? Drita.
Oh, Drita, yeah. Drita, yeah.
Like we know, like, what are we doing this? Like, why are we still doing this? And then we think about Him. It's like, and our thoughts and our very meditations go there. Like,
oh wait, I didn't hear that last part. Sorry.
Like, or after doing what we shouldn't do because it's not favorable for devotion. And then say, okay, let's try again.
Yeah.
And I have service to do. And I try to think about Gurudev and about Krishna. Some praying. Then we were reading that the Lord will reveal in our hearts So in a way, it's inconceivable. We shouldn't. We should reject what is not favorable for devotion. Yet, somehow that for the ones that are sincere,
even that situation will be helpful.
we will feel because we will try like to hold more like shelter.
Yeah. I mean, it's better to accept the favorable right away, but no situation will become hopeless if there's sincerity. But at the same time, we don't want to put ourselves in a position unnecessarily where the unfavorable, by the kick in the butt method, or by the there's an expression in English. It's called the school of hard knocks.
School of hard knocks.
Hard knocks.
Yeah, it's like you have the choice of you learn in a nice way or
Yeah.
hard knocks. Yeah.
The hard knocks way, the second choice.
The second.
And also, it can become. One time I heard Srila Guru Maharaj speaking about one person, disciple, who kept leaving. He kept leaving his vow of sannyas, and getting married, and then going back to
Sannyas.
and then getting married again. And somebody said, "It seems like he's playing hide and seek with the Lord." And Guru Maharaj said, "Yes, but the Lord may stop looking."
But the Lord
Might stop looking.
Oh.
So we don't want to. We want to always be serious, no matter I wasn't trying to put a doomsday feeling in there. I mean, he's not going to stop seeking forever, but it's not good behavior. We will make mistakes sometimes. In fact, we will make mistakes. But at the same time, we don't want to keep doing that, thinking, "Oh well, I'm just going to get away with it," and I'll just get. You know what I mean? We don't want to take advantage of that. Abuse.
Mercy.
Exactly. Yeah. So all these things are there. These are really good questions. In my opinion, they're very sincere questions and showing some contemplation about these things. And we have to sushamiksha. Why am I doing what I'm doing? What am I looking for? Am I looking for something that's actually going to end up giving me a black eye? Or am I looking for something that is really going to be favorable for my devotional practice? Or am I just going to take a break from devotional practice? Don't ever do that one.
Take a break.
Yeah, I just want some time, you know. I need some time off, you know what I'm saying? I said, okay, I think you've had plenty of that. Well, anyway, yeah, sushamiksha is very important.
Honest self-analysis.
Yeah, and when we really, when we're really having a very sweet and beautiful life, why make it hard? But we do tend to do that because we have our tendencies. You know, we have our inner tendencies, and we very much identify with those. And that's, you know, what else can we do but practice devotional life? In what we call our personality is only a circumstance. It's a situation. It's not eternal. It's like going into a particular room and it's got this thing and that thing and that thing. You're like, yeah, man, this is me, you know what I'm saying? But that's not you at all. It's just a circumstance. And then you're going to get booted out the door into another one. So we don't want to overly identify, because that will be a cause of fall down. It'll be a cause of disturbance. But to the degree in which this is what I've got to work with. Of course, then you use that for Krishna. You're not going to try to kill it. Then what are you going to be? Nothing. Ugh, just a dead thing. But at the same time, we have this shushamiksha means, why am I identifying with this particular quality? What am I trying to get out of it? Because don't forget, these rooms are a manifestation of my present illusion and my present ill motive, selfish motive. It is just the manifestation of that. Just like the soul fully absorbed in and developed love of God, he has a form. And that form is the form of his devotion. It's stunningly beautiful. And now we've taken a form which is not at all beautiful, and which is just the tools that I have for exploiting in this life. But what we have that's what I've got in my hand. So by what motive will I utilize this? That is shushamiksha. How will I understand that? And gradually this is going to get purified. If we're careful, if we keep good association, keep hearing, and do not give that up, then it will all become purified. It's all positive in the end. There's no negative thing except for my motive. That's the only problem that I need to really address. Even intellectualism is usually to attract people to myself. All of it is to attract, what are the three problems?
Kama.
Yeah. Lobha, moha, and those ones.
Kama, lobha, moha.
Yeah. Distinction.
It was wealth.
Yes. Distinction, adoration, and profit. Yes. Is that what you meant, those three?
Like wealth,
Yeah.
followers, and...
Yeah, ladies. Or men.
Like
Romantic love.
Men or
Yeah.
beautiful women.
Yeah. And is it honest?
What do you mean, with honest?
So mainly what we're doing in the mundane world, and we, if we are careful, we'll notice this about ourselves. I want one of three things. That's my motive. And I've got a little table out in the marketplace, and I put my best stuff on there to get those things from customers. So what I have to make myself distinct from others, I stand out in the crowd. I've got this amazing thing about myself. Jaya Mahaprabhu, Jaya Giriraj. And so I put it out in the market song and see what I can get for it. Maybe it's not that much, but I'll do the best I can. Or adoration. I just want to be loved. And I was like, okay, you and everybody else. So I want to be adored, and I want profit. Love is so weird. It's really good to be disappointed in love in this world. You can start noticing. I just wanted to be worshipped by this person because I thought this person was going to be the best person to worship me. And there's so many feelings. It is, a feeling. It's all crooked. But at the same time, we have to progress gradually, but with as much honesty as possible. So there's grihastha life. That you become a friend to another living conditioned being and help each other to progress in spiritual life. Be actually a friend for once. Because outside of Krishna consciousness, where are you going to find friendship? Friendly for what? or have a relationship with a husband or wife. For what purpose? Outside of Krishna consciousness, there are no honest relationships. And you don't have to believe that. You can look at it for yourself. Everything that we're being taught is common sense, actually. It's all observable. So we want to become honest, but we're thieves. I remember this movie I saw years ago. It was called Changing Places. And this guy who's a habitual thief, he's just a scammer, he's always playing the angles, getting what he can, he's just a total scammer. And he suddenly becomes really wealthy. Mm-hmm. And it's like a social experiment by these people. So he comes into his own house.
So the guy didn't know that it was a social experiment?
No, he just suddenly hey man, I want to give you all this money, here's your house, So he walks in, it's actually really funny. He walks into his new house, he's got a servant, he's got all this stuff. And the first thing he does is he starts putting stuff into his coat. He starts stealing from himself. He's just so habituated. He's like, looking around, putting a loaf of bread in his pocket. It's like... And then the servant comes, may I help you, sir? And he's like, would you like me to help you put that in your pocket? It's all yours, But it was very, very funny. And we're kind of like that, It's like, we keep doing this stuff that we don't need to do anymore. It's like, oh, sons of nectar, you are sons of the nectar ocean. Stop doing this nonsense. You are part of eternal nectar. Okay, well, yeah, that's good to know. Just keep thieving and, playing, trying to get wealth and beauty, the opposite sex to like me and, whatever we do, we try to do it for some motive, and it's all fake. It's all fake. Where's the honesty in there? Only the soul, pure soul, comes to the plane of honesty. And it's macabre. You know that word macabre? Macabre means like a dark... Have you ever seen like a dark cartoon? Crazy, It's like that. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur compares it to a shadow puppet show. Shadow puppets? You have the light behind, and then you have all these puppets, and then there's like a shadow on the screen, and then people... It's like that. Life. Like no real substance. It's just all show. Mm-hmm. And then it's all in the mental world, and then reaction in the future. Mm-hmm. Heavy. And that's macabre. Mm-hmm. Very weird and dark. And it can get weirder and darker. So we need to know, what is the art of existence? What are we here for? Like, what do I avoid? And what is good? That's really fundamental. I mean, those are the questions Sanatana Goswami is asking, right? And he's asking Mahaprabhu. He's not asking the guy at the pub, in the bar. Oh, what do you think the purpose of life is, And they have a big discussion. Well, when I was in Nam, it's like he's asking Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu's answer is like universal. It applies to every living being. That's deep, man. That's deep. I remember I went to college for a couple of years in the South, in a particular place. And I was just making a comment, like, it was a really ordinary comment, like...
Where?
I was at college, and I think it was something like, something about the body, or we have something like, and somebody goes, "Whoa, that's deep, man." But it was so ordinary. It wasn't even a deep thing. It wasn't like philosophical or anything. But human beings are capable of actual philosophical discussion. But it can't be speculation. That's another kind of sense gratification. Well, I think everybody's like, oh yeah, oh wow, that's deep. It's all nonsense. Philosophy has to come down from above and flood and purify our consciousness, and then we discuss that.
And then experienced.
And then coming some experience through Abhideya. Abhideya is bringing us to the plane of experience, which means faith. Faith means this is as clear as day. There's no way you're going to be talking that's not there. It's very clear. And then, of course, prayojan.
Prayojan is the goal, right?
Yeah. And that we are worshiping. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to experience that. Everything is descending. That means when it is time for that, then it will come. It's up to them. It's not up to me what the results of my practice will be. Anyway, so many things, right? So many things. Anything else anybody wants to add or ask or? So it's sober. Dhira. Dhira means sober.
Dhira.
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 Dhira. That means sober.
Sober.
So we want to live a sober life. We want to don't live a stupid life. You know that?
Try my best.
Huh?
I'll try my best.
I'm not just saying to you. I'm talking to myself. We have to live a sober life. We have a job to do. If somebody sticks you in a boat and says you got to go somewhere, you're going to get real sober real quick. Because if you're not, you're going to die. Well, we know we're going to die. But I need to know that my future is going in a very good direction. And I have an opportunity now. So, we don't want to waste it smoking cigars and talking nonsense. Any other thing? Anybody from the kitchen want to add anything? Hare Krishna. Jaya. Well, we're worshiping Sri Upadesamrta and Srila Rupa Goswami. We didn't get a chance to really read that. But these are all really, really good questions. But somebody told me one time regarding your first question, and it was a good one.
About Mahaprabhu?
Yeah, about Sharanagati.
Oh.
They're saying, you shouldn't be surrendering to Krishna, you should only surrender to Guru. And I'm like, how do I surrender to Guru except by worshiping Krishna? Because that's what his instruction is. So instruction is surrender to Krishna. That's the cause of all causes. So we're doing that. But we know it is only by the grace of Guru that potency of surrender can come to me.
Mm-hmm. And it's by the grace of Krishna that we receive Guru.
Yasya prasada bhagavat prasada. You know that verse?
Yasya prasada bhagavat prasada.
So by the grace of Krishna, one gets Guru, and by the grace of Guru, one gets Krishna. All within the Absolute. Yes, sir?
I have a question. So, yesterday we remembering that all that you see, that our world is like a projection.
Can you speak a little bit?
Okay. Yesterday we are speaking and remembering that this world, like a projection of our mind. Like
the world that you are experiencing is.
the world we experience.
Each one of us.
Each one of us is a projection of our mind.
Yeah.
So, other perceptions, feelings, and emotions products of Maya? And
Well, okay.
if so, through what means can we attain knowledge and distinguish the true connection with God?
Yeah. That is from divine sound. We have this, it's a miracle that through sound, all things are being shown to us. But what can be cooked up in the brain or in the mind, not the brain really, that's just mechanics, but the mind, that can never come to a spiritual conclusion. The jnanis try to do that. Through the intellect, they try to distinguish between matter and spirit. This is an arduous process, but it can only, those who are good at that, after thousands of millions of births of trying to do that, they can come to the non-differentiated plane. So that's the best you can do with that. But our process is amnaya. We are hearing what is coming down in the form of transcendental sound. It is conscious sound. It is an extension of the heart of the Lord. And that is doing everything. It is completely purifying us, changing our angle of vision, and giving us engagement in Krishna's service for the Lord and for our purification, which is also for the Lord. But otherwise, it's not possible. If we want to remain with only the faculties of the intellect and the mind, we can only come to the Nirvishesh Brahma position. That's where we came from. And we can sort of work our way back into that by the process of gyan. But it is absolutely not recommended. Our gyan is called divya gyan. That is a descending reality. Like you know, we can try to figure out what darkness is, but when light is descending, we don't have to figure out so many things. It's just there. It's light. And the nature of you is light. You are a soul. You're not by nature confused. You know what I mean? The soul is not a confused entity. He's spirit. We're spirit. But why am I confused? How did I get confused? One problem: free will. I chose it. I chose to think that I'm the enjoyer, which is not true. From the very, very beginning, we chose what was not true. And we had to make a big city with a big wall all around my own individual illusion about that, and got myself so entangled. You know that expression, oh, what a tangled web we weave, when first we practice to deceive. It becomes a big web, but around what? Around my own self. We just wove a web of illusion, and we're the ones that's the victim. We're just fooling our own self. From the beginning, we chose something that is not true, that I'm the enjoyer. There's only one enjoyer, and that's the Lord. We are all servants. And the servant enjoys more than the master because of the element of devotion. And that is what Mahaprabhu has come to feel. What is that devotion that is sweeter than I am? It is so beautiful, so noble. so self-giving, self-sacrificing, so joyful. Devotion is so wonderful. What is that? And that is Mahaprabhu's, Radharani giving her heart. That is Mahaprabhu. That is the great tattva of Mahaprabhu. Devotion is not the booby prize. This is our stupidity. That if I'm not the enjoyer, then I don't want that there will be an enjoyer. This is the Mayavad hellhole. If I'm not the enjoyer, there isn't one. It's all nothing. This is why Mahaprabhu told Prakashananda Saraswati Thakur, this is based on envy. But devotion is the sweetest thing that ever exists. Devotion itself is the essence of happiness. That's what Mahaprabhu is trying to teach us. You can't believe how much happiness is in love of Krishna. You can't imagine it. It's not like I'm going to be a devotee and then I'm going to get the good stuff that comes from that. Being a devotee is the essence of happiness. What is that? If Mahaprabhu came to feel that, if the Lord himself wants to know that beauty, that wonder of devotion, then what is going to be in there for me? He's coming to give that treasure to everyone. So we have to really understand this thing. And then we can cut our ties with this enjoyer madness, which is not, it has nothing to do with what is really valuable. It's the opposite. Haribol. Very good questions. I mean, I'm really much appreciating them. Sometimes when you hear a question, you're like, and then you have to really reach for whatever it is that you know, or what has been taught. So it's very uplifting for everyone. Can I have the drum, Prabhu? Anything else, though? Jaya Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Pari Brajakacharya Astatar Siddha Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Pari Brajakacharya Astatar Siddha Shriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Saparshad Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Nittai Gaur Premanandi. Jai Guru
Jai
Ki
Srimati
Jai.
Lekha Devi
Jai
Ki
Gurudev
Jai.
Ki Jai.
Back in Bonnie.
Oh gosh, nice to sort of see you.
And thank you.
You had a question. Do you think that Krishna is real? Is that what your question was? Anyway, we'll talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think that the class kind of covered that subject.
All right. Adios.